Pod Week. I'm Julia, and I am here with Nick from the Maine Outdoor Film Festival, and we're going to chat with him about this year's MOFF. So, Nick, why don't you introduce yourself and what MOFF is all about?
Yeah, my name's Nick. I am with the Maine Outdoor Film Festival, as you said. And we are on our, let's see, I guess it's our 15th year of the project. It's our seventh year doing a Portland flagship event in late July. So we've got the 21st through the 26th planned. We're going to have an outdoor screening each evening. Most of those are up on the Eastern Promenade. This year, we named our shorts blocks after types of wind.
I was wondering about that. I saw the shorts vlogs, and I was like, ooh,
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was really fun. My buddy is the harbor master in Rockport, so I was texting her about like, "Hey, what? I got some
what
like
are
we,
some types of wind?
I don't really want to do just all gust and but so you'd think I'd have the definitions down pat, but we have Zephyr, which is a new one for me. We have a downdrafter, which is like a really powerful squall. We have a squall. We have a prevailing westerly. We have a gale force, everybody's favorite. And the last one of the festival is the tailwind,
Nice.
apropos
Makes
for
sense.
Sunday. So that's exciting, especially since we've had screens blow over in the past.
So in the past, what have been the naming conventions for these shorts blocks? Because every year the shorts blocks are kind of like, it's not just like, oh, like shorts block A, shorts block B. Like you always think of fun, interesting names.
Well, we try to associate them with like physical features found in Maine. So we've done mountains, we've done rivers, we've done birds, we've done flowers, we've done trees. And then I think the first year we did shorts block A or something. So the second year we figured it out. But yeah, so it gives you, it gives you something to like, they're not necessarily themed. It's just kind of something to identify the block around. Um, but so those are usually pretty special. Being there on the Eastern Prom, you can smell the ocean, you can look down and see the boats in the harbor, and far out. Yeah,
It's beautiful.
you can feel the breeze and you can hear the sort of neighborhood and the activity. So it's a nice spot. We usually have food trucks, so you can have something to eat while you're there. And so that's sort of the foundation of what MOFF is about, I guess. But lately, we've been getting some excellent features, as you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, this year, we're partnering with the Portland Museum of Art. So every day at 5 o'clock from Tuesday, the 21st through Sunday, the 26th, we have a different feature screening at PMA. So that's great. There are matinees on Saturday and Sunday as well. And then earlier than that, each day, we are doing panels with local community and environmental experts. So we call our series the Community Currents. So those kick off at about 2:30, 2:45 at the Salt Institute at Mecca. And the themes on those are New England wildlife, threats and solutions is Wednesday. And then we have exploring adaptive athletics for all on Thursday. And then fighting apathy in the age of climate change on Friday. So that's a great opportunity to watch some films around those themes and then hear from some local experts in a panel discussion afterwards.
Awesome. That's great. So you told me a little bit about the schedule and how it's like slightly different this year. You're incorporating like obviously a lot of the same elements, like the outdoor screenings, the sort of like more educational focused like panel discussions. But how are those how are those going to be in sort of a different format this year?
So we've experimented with overlapping content in the past couple of years, and we found that people wanted the opportunity to go to sort of everything. I mean, there's a crew that like really wants to not have to make a choice.
Yeah.
And I think it's also in the evolution of our project, of our festival, where the size we are right now, it's smart to sort of not really have that overlapping content. So yeah, so basically you can go to like the film panel event at like 2:30 and then check out the feature at 5 and then head up to the Eastern Prom and to the outdoor shorts block. So that's kind of a daily pattern. And we listen to the people who are like, "Yo, we actually would like to go to, we got the pass. Let's go to everything."
Right.
And the other big change is we often will get work from Maine filmmakers. that isn't really necessarily outdoor recreation or environmental, which is kind of our theme. And in the past, we've tried to schedule that all together at the Maine Filmmaker Showcase as like
Mhm.
one of the nights on the prom. But this year, because there was so much of that work and so much quality other work, we've created a whole different weekend. It's called the Maine Filmmaker Showcase. So that'll take
Wow.
place August 21 and 22 at the same venue at the Eastern Promenade.
Wow.
So one highlight of that, Ghost of Paul Revere has a documentary about the band that's gonna be playing there. I'm not sure yet if it's the world premiere, but it's definitely the outdoor premiere. Let's put it that way. That should be pretty fun. And then the next night, there's a great short called North of Ordinary about the community school, actually in my hometown, Camden, Maine, that
Cool.
a classmate of mine, Sybil Patton, put together, and it's just lovely. It's just such a wonderful short feature. So we'll be screening that on Saturday the 22nd with some other shorter films made here in Maine.
I love that. I love that, like, even if your film isn't necessarily, like, about the outdoors or about conservation, you can still, like, have an outdoor experience.
You know, we just here at MOFF, we just try to roll with it, Julia, you know? I mean, it's great work, right? You know,
Yeah,
and we
it's great work and it deserves to be seen, and it
you
deserves
know,
to be
and
seen in a beautiful place like the Eastern Prom. Totally.
we own our screen and stuff, so it's fun to be able to, like, do to be able to do that, you know? It's something
Yeah.
that we enjoy for the most part. So it's great to be able to do that, and we'll see how it goes this year. Hopefully, it becomes a tradition.
Yeah. So with the sort of non-competing schedule where, each film kind of like has its moment in the schedule, does that translate to like sort of behind the scenes like easier logistics and like operational logistics or no? Or is it just
Well,
kind of the same, just in a different flavor?
no, I mean, I think you're onto something there a little bit, you know, I think there's like a sort of a venue captain or whatever, you know,
Yeah.
but I think really what is helping with the behind the scenes logistics is just we're just a year more experienced and we've got a little bit more help this year, you know.
Yeah.
You know, shout out to Brendan Donahue, our longtime flagship producer, and definitely shout out Meg Friel. You know, she's been crushing it with all the comms and logistic stuff. So those two are really, you know, bringing it. And then we also have a programming team that's expanded a little bit. You know, we have a shorts programmer and a feature programmer. So that's Noah Keats and Pete Ryan, and they'll be boots on the ground too. And, you know, our MOFF is owned by No Umbrella, our video group. So, you know, all the team of editors and, you know, shooters are working. And that whole team is Adam and Andrew. Um, but Adam Thacker does all of our print trafficking, you know, for the festival, and you know, Andrew's No Umbrella's creative director, and he's usually a welcome sight on Saturday night when the rest of the crew is just like haggard, and him and his wife Ellie show up, and they're like, "All right, yeah, anybody want some moxie and donuts?" And
Yeah.
okay,
That's what you need. I feel like, I mean, having worked at MOFF and worked at MIFF and, some other festivals, like yeah, like working a film festival is like not for the faint of heart. Cause you're often, bopping around at different places and dealing with the public, like that has its own set of challenges and especially outdoors, there's like a whole nother set of factors.
we did evolve into a nice outdoor screen a few years back, and that's been pretty pretty bulletproof in terms of wind anyway.
Have you ever had any bird poop on the screen?
I actually don't know. I don't think we have lots
Lucky.
of black flies,
Yeah.
you know, who just chase the light right
Yeah.
into the vinyl, and you know, and then and other bugs. But no, I don't know that I've ever had to clean off bird poop.
That is good. Well,
Yeah.
knock on wood. So, okay, so you're also doing the pitch, the MOFF pitch? What is that? Tell me about it.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is exciting. So, two people of our team that I didn't mention. So, Rob Mueller is working with us he's been a volunteer in years past, and this year he's
I
working with us
remember
to
working
develop
with Rob. Great
yeah,
guy.
Rob's the man. So he's our environmental programming specialist. So those sort of film and panel discussions are under his purview. But Liz McGregor, who is a filmmaker and a theater
I love Liz.
organizer in the Mid Coast, yeah, and has worked with festivals for a long time. She did a lot of programming for the Waldo. So she's working with us in a filmmaker experience consultant role, and she's helping us to develop the MOFF pitch. So it's actually underwritten by the Maine Film Office. We've got the PMA Friday morning, so 5 finalists who are sort of on the cusp of deciding. It might be 4 or 5 finalists are each going to have 15 minutes in front of our jury of esteemed Maine film industry professionals to make their pitch, to receive some questions from the jury. And then all these projects are either in production or post-production. And then directly after the pitch, we're going to bring the whole crew onto the Bay Mist on the Bay Mist ferry for like a Casco Bay boat cruise.
So fun.
So then we're going to announce the winner on that. But we figured we'd rent the boat. I don't know. It's like people come to Maine and they don't get a chance. Filmmakers. Well, I think we have like 40 filmmakers traveling from out of state this year, and it's like let's make it happen for folks so they can actually like see take a little cruise. So we wrote that into the budget this year, and we figure to like we'll just put it right in front of the pitch. And literally the only availability they had was at like noon on Friday. So we're like, perfect. We'll
Great.
just do the pitch at 10 on Friday, and then we'll. So our hand was forced there, but I actually think it's going to work out pretty well. It's going to be really fun. I think even if you don't win, I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity for networking within the audience,
Hmm.
even just with crew or other people who maybe are looking for a project to be a part of, whether it's financially. So yeah, we're excited to see how it
Hmm.
goes. And yeah, so that's the MOFF pitch.
And so are the films that are presenting there, how were those
Yeah.
selected?
So these are all filmmakers who applied through our website. So they sent a deck. They've got a short video. They've done some writing around it. And so we've got a small panel of folks who are reviewing those. And then that's independent from the judges themselves on the night of.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So that will be, yeah, it'll be a fun process. I'm sure we'll, as a festival, learn from it. But it was open to any filmmakers. As it turns out, a lot of the applications so far are from Maine, which is cool. I think
Mm.
the sort of ecosystem here is awesome and growing. And so the projects look like a lot of fun. And yeah, I think it's going to be a hot ticket, Julia. There's only like
Yeah.
180 spots in there. And we've invited the filmmakers who are in town to, join. So there's 40 that are already spoken for.
This is on the boat.
So this is in the room at PMA.
Oh, I
On
see. Got it.
Yeah. Yeah, if you buy a ticket to the pitch, you get a boat ride free because it's like there's more room on the boat.
Okay. Got it. So the pitch itself is actually more exclusive than the boat ride.
Yeah, I think so because yeah, just by the
Yeah.
virtue of yeah, and
Yeah,
but then
absolutely.
there's room for another 100 people on the boat after. So it should work out though because just 10 a.m. on a Friday will be tough for some folks, but everybody who's in town for the festival, that's the only thing going on at that moment.
Can you give us any sort of sneak peeks into the types of projects that we might see at the pitch?
I can't talk a lot about it, but they're all documentary. Like I
Mhm.
said, several of them are from Maine. A handful are from outside of Maine. Some are very personal. Some are more like global in storytelling. But you got to be in the room.
You gotta be there. I
Yeah,
love it.
it's going to be great. I mean, a lot of credit to Liz for her vision around this. But for something that we've just sort of conceived, at the turn of the year, the turn of the calendar, like I'm pretty stoked how it's coming out.
Yeah. It's a really great thing to be able to, like, see a film pitched maybe this year, and then, like, in a couple years, maybe it's actually at MOFF screening in its final form.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to the SIF, pitch session, which
The
is just
Yeah.
so fantastic. It's a little, it's a it's a different scale. I'll acknowledge that. But I mean, but by the same token, it's like, to build something that's like accessible for, people that you work and see
Mhm.
whose work you see commercially and, around town and in MOFF or other festivals in the sort of environmental and outdoor recreation circuit.
Mhm.
We're really happy to be able to provide that venue. So yeah, it's not a requirement that they, like, premiere at MOFF or anything like that, but we do hope that they think of us if they win to, submit again.
At least have their outdoor premiere at MOFF.
There you go,
Yeah.
exactly, there you go.
So about the festival, can you talk about any program highlights, like any films that you're excited about, any, particular filmmakers who are arriving, who are going to be there for Q&As? I don't want you to pick favorites, but I'm asking you to pick favorites.
For sure. I mean, I think that it's one thing I'll say about the festival on the whole this year is I think there's far fewer formulaic films that you sometimes see, where
Mm,
it's like, someone has one formula you might see is, oh, something terrible happened to someone. So they go into the outdoors to feel whole again, and then they accomplish it and they feel a little bit better at the end,
right.
and that there's nothing wrong with that. And sometimes the characters in that and the study of that character can just be so amazing that it doesn't even feel like that's the formula. It's just
Right. And the
it
fact that that is such a common formula just like goes to show, that that message is like hits home, right? Like the outdoors are transformative and healing for a lot of folks.
Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, and yeah, so not to
Yeah.
knock that at all, but I feel like the body of work as a whole this year, we saw so many just like, I don't know, like weirdos, like things that are just like, this is a one of one, like this person or this place or this trip or this way of communicating. So I'm really happy about that. Like there's just like, I think filmmakers really challenged themselves this year, and I think people are in for a treat. I think some stuff that might make people feel uncomfortable in ways. I think some stuff might maybe leave them confused or with questions, but I think you're gonna get an experience that isn't as, yeah, formulaic,
Yeah.
and there is a lot of inspiration. There is a lot of pumping your fist at the screen and, feeling really good about it. So I don't wanna say it's like, only only like
It's
just
yeah, it
discomfort, but
so it's kind of like you have to like toe that line between like eclectic and interesting versus like crowd pleaser, like formulaic, like you want obviously a little bit of both at a film festival. You don't want it to be like all like you said formulaic and sort of like okay, yeah, we know what's going to happen, but you also don't want it to be like esoteric and challenging and sort of like difficult to identify with. But yeah, sounds like the program really strikes the balance this year.
yeah, I think it does, and I think, one thing that I've, been really proud of our festival for over the years is the journey in each of these screenings. I think where we do curate them with intent, so that it's not just like a alphabetical order or shortest to longest. I mean, who would do that to someone? But I mean, I think, we try to, I think that there is something to be said for the practice of putting them in the right order. So you feel as a viewer that you've gone on a bit of a journey with both the filmmaker and the festival organizers, So, and I think this year, because of the filmmakers really stepping it up in the fashion that we're speaking about, we get to go even different journeys, like even to weirder places and come back and feel, and, so it's cool. I think people are going to be in for a treat. We've got, let's see, some of my favorites. I think, I don't even know. It's hard to, let's see. I'm like looking at some of them here. Like every night ends like really strong. There's one world premiere called Stewardship, a love letter to the Maine coast. And it's about a sailor, Luke, who works on his wooden boat, which is sort of a microcosm of the stewardship that he sees happen in the Main Island Trail. And that, so
Cool.
it's neat lens of, understanding that you like take care of yourself and then you take care of your project and then you take care of the community, and it's done in a
Oh, man.
cinematography is beautiful and obviously it's local and to show that on Casco Bay, overlooking Casco Bay is going to be pretty.
That's gonna be absolutely gorgeous. That's gonna be great.
So that'll be a highlight for sure. Let's see. There's a film about, and I think the cinematographer's from Maine. It's called A Life Aloft. So it's a hot air balloon film. Beautiful cinematography, great character development. There's two films this year about the salt marsh sparrow, both of which are excellent. I know,
You can
but
never
like
have too many films about salt marsh sparrow. Absolutely.
one
I
of
mean,
them
why
is
not?
no, and then there's another film literally called Salt Marsh by local filmmaker Tom Bell, which is a
Right.
great study of a local artist. But one of the films on the Salt Marsh Sparrow is called Stories to Save Us, the Salt Marsh Sparrow. It's such an interesting format. So it feels like BTS for the first 30 minutes or so. You've got this, I guess he's British, this filmmaker, and hanging out in the marshes of Massachusetts, showing how he's like setting up all of his shots. But he's very likable as he's talking about, and talking about, how he doesn't like time lapse photography because he doesn't feel present and et cetera. And then, yeah. And then, you get to a point where, yeah, I don't want to really spoil things, but the format changes and so it's neat. It's really well done. Yeah. And I mean, we're in the ocean, we're in Jamaica, we're in the river, we're in Sequoia. So there is so many
All
great
over the
things.
place.
Yeah,
That's
there's
great.
actually speaking of that, there's a block called Around the World that is on, let's see, that is at the PMA on Saturday, and that is I think we go to 7 different countries
That's
in
so
that block.
cool. I love that, bringing all of these stories to Maine. What are, like, last things that you would want, folks to know about coming to MOFF this year?
One thing, as we're talking about like screens blowing around and stuff like that, we do have a new partner this year so our indoor backup venue for any night on the prom is South Portland High School Auditorium. So that's going to be really exciting. So if your listeners or have tickets to an outdoor screening, it's just drive across the bridge at the high school. And the reason we have to do that instead of postpone is a lot of filmmakers do travel.
Yeah,
So we can't delay it past their flight or whatever, their lodging
totally.
options. So we're also excited that we've got a little bit bigger spot on the prom. We'll be screening in the outfield of Kiley Field, the lush grass of the softball field there.
Ooh, very nice. So is capacity going to be bigger then?
Yeah, we do. I think we gained about 100 seats there.
Great. That's
So
amazing.
yeah, so we should be able to have room for like 300, 320 or so.
Yeah, and those will definitely fill up, like, on a nice day. People, like, it's packed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. We sold out all of them last year at like the 220 range.
Yeah.
So I mean, people, yes, they like the films, but they really come for my dry humor at the intermission raffle.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. People have actually told me that. They're like, the film's absolute shit, but Nick's presentation skills, so great. Worth
And
worth the ticket
Julia,
price.
I just found like an old rusty shovel, giving it away on opening night. So, yep,
Whoa.
the
Um,
handle's broken,
People are gonna be clamoring.
lining up. Well, I'm glad you share the dry humor gene as well. Okay, good. But no, that's good. So those are a couple awesome things. And no, I won't be hosting all the nights, which is good. Um, and what else is there? Oh, we're doing one thing new this year. We're doing for those who have the running gene. We're going to do like a 5K, like fun run, a plug and jog. So we pick up trash as we run around the back bay.
Fun.
So that's going to be really cool
Are
on
you gonna
Sunday.
be running?
Yeah, well, I'll definitely be picking up trash. I might take up the rear and but it's cool there
Nice.
and then that ends and then like everybody's going to go up to the PMA and we've got like a running film at like
Perfect.
11:30. So there's a bunch of running clubs that are going to participate in that. Noah, our shorts programmer is an
Right.
avid trail runner.
He's a runner, right. Yeah, 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 yeah. Is there gonna be time to shower in between, or is the PMA gonna really stink?
I think there's a little bit of time. People probably jump in at the Eastern Prom, but, like, you know,
Yeah.
it's downstream from the treatment plant, so everybody
Yeah.
can take
And take
take
a
a
little
quick
quick
dip.
dip. Yeah. Fun.
We should actually put that in our filmmaker, like, "That beach is great, guys, but, make sure
But
you see when the tide's coming in." We're doing our selects tour again this year, and we're gonna be in a bunch of cool spots there. Just partnering with so many awesome local theaters
nice.
and arts organizations and municipalities and breweries, and so many of those we've been working with them for so long that we work together to select the films, and so they host those events, and we don't always have to travel, which expands our capacity, but all of those screenings have a unique program, so that's something
It's
I'm
amazing.
I'm really proud of that we're able to do. And so you can go to a handful of those and, maybe see the same film, once, but like mostly it's wholly different. But yeah, we have that whole listing there. I think the films aren't live for the Selects tour online yet, but they should be by the end of next week. My hope is that like right now, filmmakers, as part of their license, they agree to be part of the tour, but a huge constituency for our festival is the filmmakers themselves. And we reserve the right to pay a screening fee to filmmakers, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to do that this year for the Selects tour. But I'd really like to formalize it next year. That's like an enormous goal of mine. It's a funding issue, obviously, but
Yeah.
our budget is like tiny compared to, even other festivals in Maine. I'm just really proud of our team and what we're able to do with the money that we raise. But that's like the next big thing. And then I'd love to be able to provide, honorariums for filmmakers who are coming to stay,
Yeah.
for the festival. We do offer like no facilities camping, which is like literally it's like a field in the woods near Portland.
Yeah.
But if
Which
you've
is
got a
more than a lot of festivals offer, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and we throw in the red ants and dog ticks too. I mean,
Hey.
it's, I haven't seen a deer tick there. Those are the bad ones. But yeah, so, those are, working toward filmmakers. And I mean, we took a big step toward that this year with the pitch, frankly. Credit to the Maine Film Office for helping to underwrite that. But, we'd love to find a sponsor to be able to cover that whole kit and caboodle in the future.
Yeah. So how if people want to support that like longer term goal of supporting filmmakers in that way, how should they do that?
No, I mean, honestly, I think if people can come to the screenings,
Yeah.
I think that's, if you want to take out an ad in the program, not everybody's got he's in charge of a marketing budget or whatever, but we are in the process of forming a nonprofit as part of our organization,
Cool.
like sort of well, not as part of our organization, but as like for some of these filmmaker focused efforts and also like educational efforts. We get all the time schools, right? And like, hey, can we, do something at our school? And
Yeah.
I want to be able, so I think we're going to look to form a nonprofit that can help with that. Like just formally be able to have licensing paid to the filmmakers for that, and maybe invite them to represent their films in some of these situations. And yeah, and then to have like a fund for filmmakers and their attendance, the exhibition of their work. But as you know, there's not a ton of money, right now
Yeah.
floating around. But yeah, I mean, it's great to be. I think convening around art is so important, and I'm really proud that we're able to do that. And yeah, when you got a few hundred people up on the prom, like with their buddies watching new and independent film, it's pretty rad. So it doesn't quite pay the bills, just that energy, but it fills the soul, that's for
It
sure.
fills the soul. Yeah. Yeah. Totally. No, I feel the same way. And it's like it's easy to sort of get into that rut of like, oh, like this is so hard and budgets are so small and, there's so many forces against you, gale forces, if you will. But then like you experience that in-person experience of like watching art like with other people. And it's like, oh, right. Like, this is why we do it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, well said. It is.
Well, we'll leave it at that. And so where can folks find everything MOFF related?
We've got one of them internet websites.
Fancy.
MaineOutdoorFilmFestival.com, or if you get tired of typing that out, it's moff.film, MOFF.FILM.
Or if you go to the
us up on that.
website enough, then your browser will just remember. Like me, when I start typing Maine, it goes MaineOutdoorFilmFestival.com. So moff.film, MaineOutdoorFilmFestival.com. And you guys have a newsletter, Instagram, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, so find MOFF on all your platforms. And yeah, I'll see you at the festival next month.
Yeah, and shout out Maine Play Week for being our new media sponsor. It's awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Our paths will be crossing a lot.
Hell yeah. Cool. All right. Bye.
All right. Thanks so much, Julia.
The Maine Pod Week is hosted by Nate Stevenson and Julia Dunleavy, and edited and produced by Nate Stevenson. Social media video is produced by Nick Brown, and music is created by Peter Coleman. The podcast is a project of the Maine Play Week, a new media publication covering the moviegoing experience here in Maine. You can support our coverage financially by becoming a paid subscriber to our Substack at themaineplayweek.substack.com/subscribe. Send your ideas, questions, or other musings to hello@themaineplayweek.com, and follow us at The Maine Play Week on Instagram, Facebook, Blue Sky, and Substack. Learn more at themaineplayweek.com. But most importantly, tell your movie-loving friends that we're here, and we'll see you at the cinema.